Alrighty, y'all. G'day, how you going? Let's take a look at what's going on down under. All right, so first up, we have another fine example of modern-day journalism. So if we look, the surprising part of this isn't, what you think it is, that a man smashes a window of this lady's car in a road rage attack, but rather that we have a 40-year-old woman in her 30s. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to her. I hope she's okay. And you don't like to see stuff like that happen. But, yeah, they might want to check her age again. A 40-year-old woman in her 30s. Yeah, stuff like that is just really funny when it slips through the cracks like that. And of course, to lead the article like that is pretty comical. By the way, the comments are equally funny. ChatGPT, write me a news story in the style of News Corp. I'm not going to read that, but yeah, that's pretty funny. Look, I think the whole AI thing can be interesting at the very least, but the more you do it, the more you notice there's some pretty funny things or funny discretions that happen. So you have to let me know your experience with that. As someone who turns 40 this year, I'm super excited to be called in my 30s. Bring it on. Upon further review, I also noticed another mistake. This is just full of mistakes. News.com.au. I'm sorry, but you guys messed up here. So not only the 40-year-old woman in her 30s, but also if you look here in the little text below the snapshot there, a Queensland ambulance service spokesperson said a woman had suffered facial lacerations. Women is plural. Come on, man. They have woman down here, but women there. This is why one of the many reasons people barely pay attention to the news anymore. I mean, they pay attention, but people don't. So a lot of people don't like the news anymore. And come on, you can't even take it serious half the time. Now, this is a pretty alarming example of tourism. Tourist hotspots in big cities can really price gouge you big time. This was taken in Sydney, and it says, "Welcome to Sydney. Come see our tourist attractions and get legally robbed." So let's pull it up here. You have pork and fennel sausage rolls. That sounds incredible. You have, of course, Aussie meat pies right here. And, me not being able to ever barely access these in the U.S. at all. What a tragedy, by the way. I would love to snag these. All I ever hear is that they're usually really affordable. They're really cheap in Oz because it's just a way of life, right? These are sitting at $12 for these meat pies and $11 for the sausage rolls. Now, of course, that's Australian dollars, but that equates to probably $8 and $7 in America. And I got to admit, that's pretty steep. The crazy part is for me, if you find, these extremely rare places that sell these Aussie foods like this, like we have found, surprisingly, ours are even more expensive. So ours are literally $12 American, which would be $17 or $18 Australian or $15 Australian, something like that, right? I'm doing rough calculations here, but you get my point. These are still actually even more expensive in the U.S. But from what I've heard from you guys, for Australian standards, these are very expensive. And that's tough to see when it's sometimes a 50, 60% price increase just because of the area you're in. That could get pretty frustrating. And of course, people in the comments are mind blown that they get away with that. Some rumors saying that you don't even get tomato sauce with this or anything. So yeah, that definitely sucks. I don't think this place is going to be successful if people catch on to that. I do have to say, regardless of the price, these just look so good because this is not something we see, right? I will also say the ones I've had, I guess, even though they were expensive, I kind of feel a little bit better about it because the ones I had were big. Like the sausage roll I got in Nashville, Tennessee, it was an Australian restaurant or an Australian cafe, literally owned and ran by an actual Australian, right? I have to say the sausage roll was probably double that size, and it was phenomenal. And it came with tomato sauce. So at least, I got a lot for my money, I guess, if you think about it, even though it was pricey. Here's the important question. Which to choose? 3 chicken salts available at my local. Which is better? Nice and tasty? What is this, Mitani? Or Anchor? The original chicken chippy flavored salt. Now, of course, me as an American that doesn't really have chicken salt as a, popular and well-known option, I would take any of these because, let me say, again, very fortunate. I have received chicken salt. We've tried it. I like it a lot, right? And I would take any of these. So I'm not going to weigh in here, but I would love to see from you guys. You got to tell me down below, which of these are you going for? I guess I'd go for the nice and tasty only because it looks like, clearly it's the biggest one. It's twice the size of these. So I guess I'd go for that one. And it does say Australia, blended and owned. Most popular in the comments on Reddit seem to be for nice and tasty. All right, now I seem to always do one of these, unfortunately. These are not my favorite posts to do, but it's kind of interesting to see that perspective of, basically that times are rough, man, right? Cost of living is through the roof. Things are just expensive and annoying. And this is more proof. Now, apparently you guys have the show, Deal or No Deal, in Australia. Of course, we, at least at one time, had that here in the U.S. as well. I will admit I have not watched that show since probably 2010, 2011. Like, that would be my best guess. And back then, it was fun. It was what it is. It was just, your average game show. Didn't hate it, didn't love it. It was just fine. And I do remember the prize pool being pretty steep, like most game shows. I mean, most people don't win the maximum amount, but if, you were to get it, it's usually big. I'm thinking maybe $1-2 million, at least $500,000 at the very least, but usually around $1 million always on most game shows. Times are real rough because this says, we're living in a cost of living crisis when the Deal or No Deal jackpot is $100K. Look at this. These first prizes are 50 cents, $1, $5, $10. Like, are you freaking kidding me? I mean, the fourth prize down is $10. And what could you even buy with $10 at this point, right? It's pretty sad. I mean, honestly, you can barely get away with eating a meal for one person at a fast food restaurant, which who the hell wants to do that all the time? It's fast food. That's not even great food. And that costs basically $10 a person at this point. This is absolutely crazy to see the jackpot as only 100,000, which if this is Australia indeed, then that would mean for me, my perspective, 100,000, that's like, I think like 78, 80,000 US dollars. I mean, winning that as an ultimate jackpot on a game show, that's insane. $80,000 is not going to, unfortunately, in this day and age, it's not going to, like, majorly change your life. It'll help, but that's not going to, like, have you set for the next 10 years. No way, dude. It's not even going to have you set for the next year. It's just going to help. That's about it. And, of course, people say it used to be 2 million. That's what I thought. It was, like, at least 1 million, maybe even 2. They used to give away a car with it as well. And also, totally, like, kind of unrelated, but I always think this is kind of interesting with shows when you're actually there for filming. So someone was in the audience at one of these back in 2010, so that's quite a while ago. I'm sure the prize pool was much more. Let me mention that. They said it actually sucked. Like, it wasn't a very good experience just because they had to move around. It was a full day of filming. They filmed like 5 episodes in one day, so they got to see different episodes and they had to rotate around seats and stuff. And there were multiple retakes so they can get the best reactions to, like different scenes and products. Sounds like tiresome and long. That's what they were saying. So that's the funny thing is I think some people think like, oh, it'd be cool to be on set for a movie or a show or a game show. And in theory, it sounds like it might be fun, but and I'm not saying it's not fun sometimes. There might be good environments, but sometimes it sounds like it's just not all that. It sounds like a lot of boring days. So, yeah, I mean, this is, like I said, this is interesting. I feel like this is really low. if it was always this low, then maybe this is a Mandela effect. Maybe I am out of my mind and I don't remember this right. I'm pretty sure this is way lower, though. If it's not, then my whole world is a lie. And unfortunately, we have more footage of, well, to put it bluntly, assholes in the parking lot, or in the car park, as you might say. Old mate from Hope Valley Footy Club blocks our only entry to our tennis club. As you can see, they have their Hilux backed as far up as you can go, wheel chalked against the curb. So of course the bed is overhanging the whole sidewalk for one. And be careful walking behind this guy here, because he of course has the tow hitch, the ball, the receiver here sticking out. So if you are not expecting that and you think you're just clear of the vehicle, you're actually not. This is sticking out. You're going to pop your shin on this thing, and let me tell you, I've done it. The worst pain ever. Not to mention, as they said, they can't open this gate. So, oh boy, the amount of bad drivers lately I've seen, and the amount of just horrible parking jobs every single day I encounter. Look, I'm not complaining. I'm just telling it like it is. It's bad out there, man. I'm sorry that it's bad for you guys as well. I guess we can all relate on that. But it's something that's not that fun to relate to, right? Come on, people. Park better. To be fair, people mentioned in the comments, not to totally demonize this person. There should be maybe like a bollard there so you can't back way up. Or maybe a sign saying that particular spot shouldn't be occupied, but just because there is a gate that has to swing out there. So I guess that makes sense, right? Because this person might not have noticed. Actually, probably didn't. I could probably make this mistake. If you're not going to this tennis court here, you might not know where the door is. You're just parking, and you're not going to look for like, hey, is there a gate door behind me that swings open? So I guess that's fair to say, like, it's not, might have not totally been their fault, but it's still a sucky situation. And this is a little more funny, kind of lighthearted cost of living crisis post. This is recent from yesterday. Australia's cost of living crisis has hit poor, healthy Harold. Had to downsize his rig. Now, I don't know what this was, but I looked in the comments, and supposedly this was like one of those like educational buses that used to come around, and kids used to go out on like a little field trip out to the parking lot or whatever and go in the bus and learn about stuff. I never had that in my schools. I don't know if that's a thing in the U.S. It perhaps is in certain places, just maybe, wasn't in my school. Yeah, I've heard of that in different countries to an extent. I think they do that in like Mexico, I've heard. I think I've heard they do that in the UK. And obviously they must do that in Australia as well. If you want to weigh in on that, please educate me a little bit. Like I said, I never experienced this, but if I'm thinking and hearing that they used to come in like a bus or some big van or something, and now they're in just this little ute with the smallest little thing, I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know how the class of kids is going to come, learn in this tiny little truck here. But even healthy Harold is not immune to this cost crisis. Oh my goodness. So apparently a couple days ago was International Burger Day. Now, I will say, by the way, for all those that have watched me for a while, you probably heard me say I don't have burgers a lot. And that's not a lie. The last time I had a burger was when we made, attempted to make an Aussie style burger for a video, here at our house. And I want to say that was like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, something like that. And that's the last time I had a burger. That's how often I have burgers. I just don't have them. 4 months ago, that's not very often. But I have to say this looks good. So yeah, for International Burger Day, someone wanted to nominate the Great Lot Burger as Australia's official burger. And, you guys can debate that or agree with that as you please. But I have to say, somehow, this looks really good. I'm not a big burger guy, especially when they're really jam-packed. I feel like it's just too messy and too much of a headache. But I'd give it a go for this, especially if I had a cold beer. And this, I'd give it a go for sure. This looks hella good. I want the egg. I want the beetroot. I want it all. This looks hella good. Boy, you know shrinkflation's getting bad when you see this. As you can see, how the hell are you supposed to grab onto this? You know the wooden stick? Like that? Look how small it is. It's smaller than a little portable packet of tissues. What the heck is this? Boy, I tell you, the news cycle in Australia is just on fire right now. Allegedly naked passenger forces Virgin plane to turn around on flight from Perth to Melbourne. If you don't believe me, here we go. Yes, guys, Virgin Airlines. You can reroute your flight, but you can't un-Virgin your plane. I love this one. Free Willy as the in-flight entertainment. Except there were no screens on the back of the seats. I love this. Yeah, this is a great breakdown. Allegedly naked passenger. Is a passenger's state of dress really at issue? An alleged man, allegedly a passenger, allegedly naked in an alleged plane. That's how it seems to be anymore. Allegedly, you're either naked or not. That's what I'm saying. Like, which is it? Now, I can't really weigh in on this one, as we don't have this brand. I've heard of it only recently, the last year or two, through videos, I think, from Australia. But this guy is, you know, look, I think everyone sees some crazy listings on Facebook Marketplace, especially if you're a car guy or gal, and you look at some, you know, some automotive posts, some cars for sale. There could be some real bangers out there for sure. Someone's got to tell this guy he's dreaming. We have a picture of dung, as you can see. 2009 Great Wall Ute, $800,000. 2 days ago in Brisbane, if you were interested. Now, I don't know if that's how good they are or if that's accurate or what, but just thought I'd throw it in there because, you know what? The funny part is I can picture this being real. I don't know if this is real or not, but I can picture Facebook Marketplace. You really do never know. And finally, I'll end it with a funny meme, because Australian memes are some of the best. So, Australia enters the space race. Yeah, it's a strange shape, but I guarantee it'll come back. Australian Space Agency. Yeah, that's good. Somehow that actually looks really cool as well. So yeah, that'll be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I do appreciate you watching, as always. And it's almost the weekend, so there's that. It is my son Andrew's birthday while I'm recording this. So we're going to go have a fun, probably a whole weekend for him, try and make it really special. So yeah, I'm going to go head off into my duties. But I do hope to see you in the next one as well. That's all I got for you here. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. And until next time, y'all, I'll catch you later.